Hello, my friends, my Renegade Musings audience. A friend of mine asked me the other day, he is really struggling with a squirrel mind that is constantly conjuring up problems and what if scenarios, and he was asking me how he can turn that off, because he feels like he is sabotaging his work because his squirrel mind is interrupting his focus of what he has to do at work. And so he was asking how to turn it off. I gave him a temporary remedy of whenever he feels his mind going to the races, to place his hand on his heart and do deep breathing exercise to calm down his nervous system and to activate the parasympathetic nervous system to calm his mind down, right? The mental activity. That's a temporary measure. A person really has to do a lot of meditating to break out of the pattern. But the pattern of having all of these worries is a loop that is fed by the subconscious trauma, by the conditioned beliefs that perhaps he feels undeserving. He believes that life has to be a struggle. Maybe he feels the anxiety over having lack, right? Not having enough. All of these things are subconscious and working in the unconscious space that then triggers our conscious mind to go into these hamster wheel loops of anxiety. The subconscious and the conscious mind then begin to work against each other and trigger the nervous system into fight or flight. Ultimately, the resolution to that is awakening. Awakening to the fact, to the truth, to the remembering of who you are before your human avatar ever was created. Who you are before you ever entered Earth, the Earth realm, right? So that question alone can help trigger remembering, because in asking the question, you temporarily disconnect from your persona, your human persona, your human ego, that which you identify as, along with all the programming, and you enter a space of silence, stillness. And that stillness is so expansive that it will take you above the small human avatar reality. And what I usually say is, you have to have the realization that you and God are one and the same. That you are that consciousness that we call God. Because only at that highest recognition, at that highest instance, do you have enough awareness to override the human programming, to dissolve the victim programming that our human avatar carries and identifies with. And to be a victim simply means that as a human you feel too small, smaller than your circumstances. So in a general term, you become a victim of life. You live as a victim of life. Because whoever put you here, that's the reasoning of the human mind. Whoever put you here isn't taking very good care of you. So that is a trauma of separation and a trauma of insecurity, because whoever put you here is not taking care of you, and so you're feeling this lack of security. And this feeling of insecurity drives everything, drives all your worries of how are you ever going to have enough, right? So you have to awaken to the greater aspect of your soul, which I call God. When you identify as God, it changes the chemistry in your brain. It shifts something in your brain. It shifts you out of the victim state. And it shifts your nervous system. It gives you the signal that now you are in control. And you are greater. Your essence is greater than all of life's circumstances. And as that greater essence, you can now flow in this greater energy, with this greater energy instead of against it. And it's in that energy that you can rest. It's in that energy that you can know that you will always be taken care of. And I'm remembering now something Jesus said, I think in Matthew chapter 5, when he said, "Take no thought of tomorrow. For behold, the lilies of the field, how extravagant they are clothed," right? "And they neither spin nor toil." They're just clothed more brilliantly than king's clothing, king's garments, right? So what was Jesus alluding to? I think he was alluding to this very thing that I'm explaining. If you have God awareness, which gives you the responsibility and the control of your life, of what flows into your life, then you can be like the lilies of the field and not worry, not be anxious about tomorrow, about what you will eat, what you shall put on. Will you have enough food on the table? Will you have enough money for gas in your car? Because all of these things will just present themselves to you in this flow. Jesus could only talk about this and teach about this because he too had the awareness that he is God, that he and God were one and the same. He counted equality with God as not something easy to be grasped. That's why he could teach about this flow, about this rest, because everything you need will present itself in that state if you can shift out of the victim mindset. The victim mindset will always produce lack, always produce anxiety and worry, and that is what will rob you of your life force. So does this make sense to you? I know you can probably not achieve it mentally just by me telling you that, but if you do this exercise of asking yourself the question, who am I? Who am I? And you let that stillness speak to you. I think that will really help you. Really help you into entering into a more restful state. And you can stay out of the fight or flight, right? And then you can experience life more in a peaceful flow, knowing that because you are aligned with Creator Source consciousness. Everything you need will basically come into your life on its own.